Patellar tendon issues go by a variety of different names. Jumper's knee, patellar tendinitis, patellar tendinosis, patellar tendinopathy, all of them really refer to the same thing, and that's pain related to the patellar tendon. And so this video will go over an exercise progression for patellar tendinopathy. Patellar tendinopathy is considered an overload condition, meaning that the loads that we placed on the patellar tendon exceeded what it can tolerate, and that leads to the generation of pain. And this can either occur acutely, where maybe we joined a pickup volleyball or basketball game, and so we did a little bit too much jumping, and that led to the irritation of the patellar tendon. Or it can occur chronically, where we've just consistently overloaded the tendon over a long period of time, and that's what led to the development of patellar tendinopathy. The treatment approach for patellar tendinopathy is a progressive loading protocol, and it generally occurs in 3 different stages. We have the isometric phase, where we're actually contracting the quad muscles but not moving the knee joint. Then we progress to the isotonic phase, where we're going through concentric and eccentric muscle contractions, so flexing and extending the knee under load to help strengthen the muscles and the tendon. And then we progress to plyometric exercises, where we're exposing the patellar tendon to quick loads. But there's actually debate on whether we need to have this structure for the rehab program for patellar tendinopathy, because isometric exercises were generally included because they were shown to have an analgesic effect, and that was by research by Ebony Rio, but that analgesic effect hasn't been shown to be consistent for those with patellar tendinopathy, and so we might actually be able to progress straight to isotonic loading if the tendon is able to tolerate that. With that being said, if we have either a highly sensitive tendon where we can't load it that much, or if we have someone that's fearful of loading the tendon, then we can do isometric exercises because we're able to control the parameters of the load that we're placing on the tendon. And overall, it doesn't hurt to include isometric exercises because there's very little downside to actually including them in the rehab program. For isometric loading, there's a variety of different exercises that we can do. We can do a wall sit, but generally it doesn't place that much load on the quads when we're actually doing a wall sit. Or we can do a Spanish squat, which is what the research for the analgesic effect had. However, it needs a little bit of equipment to be able to perform. Or we can actually just do a lunge and actually hold it at the bottom, and this way we don't need any equipment. And so for the isometric hold, it's important to have the front leg. We're going to try to keep that shin vertical so we avoid any compression on that patellar tendon as we go down into the position. And so what we'll do is we'll just lower ourselves down, again trying to keep that shin vertical, and so this is the quad that we're working. And so the lower we go, the harder it's going to be on that quad to actually hold us in this position. And so we want to hold this for 30 to 45 seconds and then repeat for 3 to 5 repetitions. For isotonic loading, we can actually just do that same lunge, but then just slowly lower ourselves down to the ground and then lift ourselves back up. We want to do this over 3 to 4 seconds for both the concentric and the eccentric muscle contraction. So what we'll do is we'll be in that same split stance, and we're going to initially try to keep our shin vertical to minimize the compression that we're putting on the patellar tendon. And then we'll just slowly lower ourselves down over 3 to 4 seconds and then back up. And so if we're doing this at the gym, we can use a dumbbell or a barbell to add load to this, or if we're doing it at home, we can actually just use a backpack, and that'll place more load on the patellar tendon and quadricep muscles as well. And we can actually modify the lunge exercise to expose the patellar tendon to a little bit more compressive loading by actually not having that lead shin in vertical. And so what we'll do is we'll actually have our feet closer together, and then we'll just slowly lower ourselves down again. And so you'll notice that my knee is actually going over my toes. And so we're actually putting a little bit more compression on that patellar tendon. And so again, initially we'll start with a 3 to 4 second contraction both up and down. And then we can also add load to this exercise as well. And for plyometric exercises, there's a variety of different exercises that we can choose from. And it really depends on what we're trying to return to. If we're trying to go back to running, volleyball, basketball, all of those will have specific demands that they're going to place on the patellar tendon. And so our rehab program will actually be geared to whatever the demands are going to be. But we can take that same lunge exercise that we just did in the other progressions and add a plyometric component to it. And so again, we'll be in that split stance position, but we're not going to be bending our knees quite as much. And so a way to slowly add that quick load onto that patellar tendon is actually just to lift that front leg up and then just slowly catch ourselves. And we can either go lower into that position or up higher. And then we can actually just progress this into either a jump like so, and then progress into some single leg loading. Thank you for watching this video on exercises for patellar tendinopathy. I hope that you found these exercises helpful. If you did, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. If you want to see more of my content, hit the subscribe button down below. If you want to be notified of future videos, hit the bell icon as well. See you guys in the next video.